myself a little dog, his color was a brown. Sailed him round the ocean, the world around. And when I take my little dog in places, it stays with me all time, you know it's basic. My little got myself a little dog, his color was brown. Sailed him round the ocean, the world around. When I take my little dog, he is red. It gon' stay by my side all day. My little got myself a little dog, his color was a brown. Sailed him round the ocean, marks the world around. And when I take my little dog away, yeah, all he wants to do is run and jump and play. My little c'est d'amour. Il n'a pas de mot pévin fou, mais moi me connais qui mon amoureux. Mon légué avant et chaque fois mon pensou, mon n'a pas les qui s'allait arrêter. zoli petit record. Wajah pintra c'est mon moment donne-moi mon tout mon bonnet. Mon ébli envie de c'est.
Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of Tracks from Abroad. My name is Alex Troxel. I'm here with my co-host,
Seth Martosh.
Seth has had a rough weekend.
Yeah.
Been a bit under the weather, right?
That is true. It's been a rough weekend, you might say.
Yeah, and well, you know, the effect is just that you sound like a seasoned radio expert at this point.
Yeah,
basically.
I think I might have to keep my voice like this, maybe. Depends on how the ratings come in after this episode.
Yeah, possibly. It definitely gives you an air of authority, I would say.
Okay,
but,
good to know.
Yeah, but in case you're new to Tracks from Abroad, this is a show where every week we speak to students and sometimes artists with a background from somewhere beyond Canada, beyond Toronto, really, is what we shoot for. And we try and learn a bit about their culture, just through talking with them, listening to their music, discussing the role that music plays in their culture.
Yeah.
For example, we're going to Mauritius this week.
Yes, we spoke with Henny, who is actually, also you'll hear about a little bit later, but is a volunteer at the radio station as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we connected with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells us about the small island nation off the coast of Africa, but not really African.
Yes.
Is what she was very adamant about.
Yeah, well, as we'll learn, the people of Mauritius come from a whole mix of different places.
Exactly.
Not unlike Toronto, dare I
Sure.
say. So, yeah, we'll hear a little bit about how I was particularly interested in how, I assumed that DJ culture would be a big part of Mauritius.
Mm.
Because, like beach sound, it's a tourist destination.
Right.
Beach sound has that sort of DJ sound. But I didn't expect it to be something that was like really part of the identity of the people of Mauritius.
It seems like it's akin to being, like you said, like a pop star.
Yeah.
Or like a big, musical icon. It's like the DJ has a big status.
Exactly. So we'll hear from some Mauritian DJs. We'll hear their music at least later on the show. But without further ado, let's just get into the interview with Henny. This is Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
So I came here when I was 4. So in Mauritius, I went to school there for only a year. And then I also had a dog in Mauritius.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, everyone had a dog in Mauritius.
Really?
Yeah. And he was very dangerous. Yeah.
The dog was dangerous?
Yeah, he usually guards the house.
Okay, what type of dog?
A German Shepherd.
Did the dog come with?
No, we had to give him to someone else, another family. And I miss him so much, and I don't think I ever saw him again.
Wow, that is kind of sad.
Yeah, so we moved here when I was 4, and then we just settled, and basically it.
Do you remember at all your time there, or a little too young maybe?
I only have memories of my dog.
The dog.
Leo. Yeah, I remember the last time I saw him, they drove him away, like my family drove him away to somewhere else, and he looked back at us, and
Oh, like a movie.
yeah, that was the last thing I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a dog now?
No.
So that was just the one, and then that was
Yeah.
like the sad moment.
Yeah, because like in Mauritius, it doesn't snow, so like we can take him on walks and stuff
Right.
in Mauritius. But here in the winter, you know, it's a lot of responsibility
But you said a lot of people have a dog?
in Mauritius. Yeah,
Why?
we have a lot of stray dogs
Okay.
too, so some people just like adopt them. Yeah, it's just I don't know. You have a lot of dogs there.
So then, you grew up here, and now you're at the university. And what are you studying at the university?
So I'm studying French teaching
Mm-hmm.
and books and media. I want to be a French teacher. And I grew up speaking French. I went to a fully French elementary school, and then I switched to French immersion. So French and English. And my English really improved then. So my mom's a French teacher, and I want to be one too, just like her.
What else about teaching or like the French language inspires you?
Well, mostly what inspired me is I just love kids.
Mm-hmm.
And like I notice kids these days, they're always on their phone. Like I want to change that. Like I want to make a difference in their lives. So yeah, I really love kids, and I want to help them.
Have you done any other jobs working with kids?
Yeah, I volunteered
Okay.
at a school for a daycare, and they love me so much already.
That's good.
So I can imagine when I'm older and how much they love me too.
You said you went all over the island. If somebody was visiting Mauritius, where would you tell them to go?
The beaches at the north are my favorites. Most tourists visit the south because there's a lot of touristic areas,
Mm-hmm.
but the beaches in the south are not my favorites.
Okay.
And also the airport is in the south, so most people would just stay in that area. But the north is, in my opinion, the best and just better. And we have the capital of Mauritius, Port Louis, and it's a very touristic place. And we also have smaller islands around Mauritius. And a lot of people take boats and visit another island.
Mm-hmm. And how big is like the tourism industry there?
I think it's one of the main industries. A lot of tourists every year.
Right.
A lot of resorts.
Are the people from Mauritius happy that a lot of tourists come, or do they also maybe get a little annoyed with them at times?
I think it's very separate, the Mauritians and the tourists, because the tourists, they go to beaches and resorts and touristic places, but Mauritians, they're not going to visit touristic areas a lot.
And so you said you have a lot of family still in Mauritius.
Yes.
What was it like for your parents to come here?
We felt very lonely and left out now.
Right.
In Mauritius, we have all the weddings and parties, events. And if we were in Mauritius, we would have been invited to those parties. But here it's just a few Mauritian friends. It's not the same. But at the same time, it's also good that we're away from them. There's just drama sometimes, family problems, dealing with all those things going on. And when we're here in Canada, it's just us.
Right.
We're just focused on us and our life. Because in Mauritius, everyone's so curious about your life and what you're doing.
Do you find there's less privacy, just
In
due to the
Mauritius.
fact there's maybe less people as well?
Yeah, in Mauritius, you have no privacy. Everyone knows what you're doing. Even if you don't tell anyone, somehow they'll know.
Yeah.
So in Canada, you can keep everything private, which is really good. Yeah.
Is there a big Mauritian community in Canada, in Toronto at all?
Yeah, in Toronto, we have Mauritian events, but not as much anymore. And we also have Mauritian friends, so we never feel too alone.
At these types of events, would you hear any traditional Mauritian music, things like that as well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like, only Mauritian music. We call it Sega.
Okay.
Sega music. But it's always the same Sega songs every time. But no one gets, like, tired of it. It's
They
the
love
same
it.
dances, same songs all the time.
What makes Sega music different?
It's just the way we dance. It's fun. Like, we move our hips a lot.
Okay.
I can't do that. But it's just very fun. A lot of energy.
I think that's a good time to take a music break. Would you be able to recommend a Sega song, perhaps, that we could listen to?
Yes, this song was rated #1 in Mauritius in 2022, I think. It's called Jolie, which means pretty in French. Or like in English, yeah.
All right, well, we're going to have a listen to Jolie by JSB Morning Game, and we'll be back on Tracks from Abroad with more chat with Henny.
We're going to briefly interrupt your regularly scheduled programming here, just to mention that we actually heard the song Zoli that Henny just mentioned at the top of the hour. So instead, right here, we're going to play a song by Bluey, who's actually a very well-respected, long-time jazz and funk musician. He's released 15 albums as part of the band Incognito, but he's got an album out recently, within the last couple of years, that blends that sort of Mauritian house sound with a bit of funk and disco influences. So we're going to play that for you right here on Tracks from Abroad. Hello and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad. We're speaking with Henny today from Mauritius. Henny, you mentioned that you have a Mauritian pride. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I think it's very unique to be born in an island. Everyone's always impressed and stuff. So I've always been proud of Mauritius, but I think it's just the people in Mauritius. Like, I get disappointed how we are sometimes, and it's just kind of like embarrassing because we have a beautiful island and our people should be nicer and more welcoming.
I mean, you just said it's embarrassing, so I don't really want to press you on it. But could you elaborate or a little bit? Or
like the way we act and how we're always so curious about other people's lives, and like we mentioned, no privacy at all, and it's not nice.
Do you think that's just sort of developed from living on an island? Maybe you just have that sort of smaller, tighter knit community.
Maybe. I think in Canada, it's a big country and we develop, but in Mauritius is small, the same people or same family, same way of thinking, and it doesn't change over the years.
Do you want to say a bit more about maybe the unique aspects of Mauritius that could be prideful about?
Something else that makes Mauritius unique is it's the mountains, and I love hiking in Mauritius. I climbed a mountain, which is really cool. And just like we have a lot of hidden natural places, like you can find hidden waterfalls, like secret places.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's really cool. And not a lot of people talk about that because they're hidden, right?
Mm-hmm.
You won't find it anywhere else. But one thing I like about Mauritius is how developed we are compared to other tropical islands. We have a lot of new fancy malls, and like I was very impressed. A lot of nice cafes, but they're so expensive. Everything became so expensive in Mauritius, but like we develop, and I think that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of reading, and apparently Mauritius, because it's sort of strategically located between Africa and Asia, there's a lot of like business and finance.
Like you said, it's near Africa. A lot of people think it's a part of Africa, but it's not a part of Africa. Even on Google, it says it's a part of Africa, but it's not. So it's just something that just like bothers me because like we're an independent island.
So what continent is Mauritius part of? Or it's its own like...
I guess it's its
continent.
own, but like if I really had to like say like which continent, I guess I would say Africa, but we're really just our own. Like, you know, like when people ask what's your ethnicity or whatever, like I just click other. Like I'm not gonna click like the African and then.
So Mauritius people for the most part don't really consider themselves to be African.
Yeah, no, we're not Africans.
In terms of food in Mauritius, can you tell us a little bit about some of the dishes one might expect to eat?
If you go in a restaurant in Mauritius, you will find fried noodles, boiled noodles, fried rice. It's everywhere, but my favorite is definitely boiled noodles. It's just so good. I think that's mostly like the main Mauritian foods, but we also have a lot of like mixed like from different cultures, so it's very diverse. We have like Chinese food or European or even Indian. Like we have our own version of biryani, like Mauritian biryani. It's not spicy. That's the difference. And we also have like snacks. For example, there's a chili cake. It's really good. It's like very popular. You eat it with tea.
And can you tell a little bit about that diverse mix of cultures that you'd find in Mauritius? You said, you know, there's Indian-inspired dishes and Chinese as well. Is that due to the makeup of the people that live there?
Yes, it is. Like we don't have like one specific like Mauritian like community. We have ancestors, I guess, from India, China, and even from Africa. So it's very diverse in Mauritius, different religions and cultures.
Do you think there's a song that you can recommend to us?
I have one song. It's called Bat Sega, which means like hit Sega.
Well, we're going to take a listen to Bat Sega, and we'll be back on Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
Bat Sega, Bat Sega. Bat Sega, Bat Sega. Nous qu'à danser, c'est qu'à une fille à moi connaît, beaucoup de choses qui passaient en dehors aux îles tropicales. Quand on a fait battre, triangle, parti passe rythmique pour rentrer, pour nous mettre ça à sauter. C'est qu'à une fille à nous qu'à danser, c'est qu'à une fille à moi connaît, beaucoup de choses qui passaient en dehors aux îles tropicales. Allez pousser, allez nous lever pour danser. Taper dans la souffrance et la guerre, s'accouiller, marabat. Toi, mon Sega, mais les voilà, l'île. Toi, mon musique passionnelle, mais les voilà, l'île. Toi, mon Sega, mais les voilà, l'île. Bat Sega,
battez, triangle, la triangle, partie basse rythmique pour rentrer, pour nous mettre ça à sauter. C'est gâteau une fille à nous qu'à danser, c'est gâteau une fille à moi connaît, beaucoup de sauce qui partit en dehors aux îles tropicales. Ravanne battez, triangle, la triangle, partie basse rythmique pour rentrer, pour nous mettre ça à sauter. C'est gâteau une fille à nous qu'à danser, c'est gâteau une fille à moi connaît, beaucoup de sauce qui partit en dehors aux îles tropicales. Sega, 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 Sega,
Hello and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad. Today we're speaking with Henny from Mauritius, and while we were just taking a little break here, Seth was showing you a Canadian Mauritian band. Could you tell us a bit about how you've heard of this band?
Yeah, so the band is called Blue Bay, and actually my dad's friend is in that band, so they just create their own Sega music, and sometimes they play live on Facebook, and that's how I know them from.
So what instrument does he play in the band?
So he plays a tambourine, but our main instrument in Sega music is a drum called Ravanne, and I love the sound of Ravanne, and it makes Sega music very unique in Mauritius.
Can you talk about Sega music a little bit more? Like why it's so big in Mauritius? Like why do people love it?
I think Sega music really brings the community together, especially in parties and weddings. It's when everyone dances and it's when everyone's happy with Sega music. But there's also like the soothing, nice, calming Sega music that you can listen to like at the beach during sunset time. So I think we have different types of Sega music, and it makes it really unique in Mauritius.
Besides Sega music, are there any other types of music that are extremely popular in Mauritius?
There's a lot of DJs in Mauritius, and it's like all the teens is when they gather at nightclubs, and the DJs are very famous and they make their own music, and that actually what inspired me to learn DJ. And funnily enough, I met Razak, who is a DJ.
And volunteer coordinator at CIUT?
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. And then he told me about CIUT, and it's how I came here.
Right.
And he made me a volunteer.
And what have you been doing for the radio station? What are some of your tasks as a volunteer?
I started off in the marketing team. Razak just gave us tasks, and we would just like make posts or something for the Instagram. I even filmed a video on how to get to the radio station, and that video like got a lot of views. But now I want to focus more on maybe the podcast or like something different other than marketing.
Is there any overlap with those skills and DJing? Like, do you get knowledge of like how to work with sound or?
Well, Razak is just teaching me DJ. He's teaching me how to DJ. So
yeah.
What have you enjoyed about DJing thus far?
It makes me really proud of myself, like the transitions I can do and learning something new. And I love listening to Latin music more, so I just make kind of remixes.
Amazing. Well, in that case, can you recommend us a final Mauritian song that maybe we'd hear in one of your DJ sets?
Or we'd hear at like a Mauritian DJ set.
Yeah, so my favorite DJ is called AVS, and he's really good. And the singer called Big Frankie is really popular in Mauritius. All his songs are amazing, and all the Mauritian teens love him so much. And he actually went on a tour. He came here in Canada and Australia. And he's really amazing. And I think the DJs are really talented. They make their own music, and I think it's pretty impressive, especially from a small island in Mauritius.
You want to intro the song here? Quite the
yeah,
title.
the song is called Zubeida Lève Tan, which means pretty tanned lips, by Big Frankie and AVS.
Well, we'll have a listen to some music by famous Mauritian DJs. And before we do that, we would just want to thank you again, Henny, for coming on and talking with us.
Thank you very much. This was amazing.
You're listening to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
Celui-là les tan 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 les titan tan les tan. Celui-là les tan 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 les titan tan les tan. Celui-là les tan 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 les titan tan les tan. Celui-là les tan 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 les you. Only makes a bikini, 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 no no. And celui qui pujijin, 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 no no. Only makes a bikini, 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 no no. And celui qui pujijin, 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 no no. Ce beauté qu'a fait moi quand, puis tout ce qu'a pas fait mon physique pas. Caresse dans les coups qu'il m'a pas béca patini à ta nanti mama. Ou ma gomine rectiti, je coupe caché bien tard dans la nuit. Il bien content mange du goût de banana. Content c'est qui vite comme ma katana. Oh go la serre, en même temps c'est la cajoujou. Je suis en train de faire l'hiver chouchou. Dans sa lèvre caille après fais-toi tout sali. Tourne, tourne, fais-toi rassati lili.
Un nuit nous pour mettre la faille juste moi à côté de toi. Tous les deux mètres qu'on y ça jusqu'à qui nous coca.
Nous continuons c'est maman, papa. Personne pas vous connaissez nous c'est qui en moi et toi. Tan, 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 les titans, tan, les tan. Celui-là les tan, 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 les titans, tan, les tan. Celui-là les tan, 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 les titans, tan, les tan. Celui-là les tan, 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 you. Only makes a bikini, 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 no no. And celui qui pujijin, 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 no no. Only makes a bikini, 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 no no. And celui qui pujijin, pujijin, pujijin,
Welcome back to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. My name is Seth, and I'm here with my co-host,
Alex.
And one of the interesting things that Henny actually told us, kind of after we had conducted our interview, which I was a little disappointed in, was how big into football, and specifically the Premier League, that people in Mauritius, are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling us that the island is basically split into two. Half of the island supports Liverpool, and half of the island supports Man United. And being a big, football fan myself, I'm an Arsenal fan though, so I got to shout out the Gunners who just beat Liverpool on what was it, yesterday?
Sounds right.
On Sunday morning, yeah. But I was really interested to see that that influence of football kind of reaches that far. I never would have guessed.
Yeah. She mentioned that there was a recent compound that was developed in Mauritius to train future Mauritian football players. I suppose.
Like a Liverpool training academy.
Yeah.
I don't know any famous Mauritian football players.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can play the game, so you got to find talent somewhere.
There's the AFCON Cup, that's taking place right now.
Right.
So I don't know how well Mauritius has done.
But maybe in 20 years, by the time that compound has generated, has had its effect, we'll be hearing about some Mauritian football players.
For sure.
Now, I'm not sure how to do the segue, so I'll just say coming up next in the following musical segment here, we're going to listen to a couple of different songs. We have one song by Kaya, not the Bob Marley album, but the Mauritian artist who, as you'd probably suspect, was inspired a lot by Bob Marley, and he felt that the struggles that Bob Marley and the Jamaican people were going through reflected the struggles of the Mauritian Creole people. And so he adopted Bob Marley's politics, his sort of style of music, and blended it with Mauritian Sega music to create the perfectly named genre Sega. So we'll hear that coming up in a couple songs from now. But first, we're going to have another song by Canadian band, the Blue Bay Band. Blue Bay Band,
which, again, you heard in the interview that Henny's dad's friend plays in. But yeah, they are a band playing here in Toronto that, have Mauritian influences, play Sega, rock, pop, a big mix of different styles, and bring that Mauritian flavor to Canada. And it actually turns out that Mauritius has not been in the AFCON Cup this year. So yeah, we're waiting for the compound thing to work out.
Yeah, that's a long-term goal right there. But yeah, this is Tracks from Abroad. We're going to hear a couple of Mauritian songs coming up next, some Sega, some Canadian Mauritian music. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a couple more songs.
Jolie, jolie, chokri. Sahar ke lizinwa mein
on n'a pas prendre la lumière. Azoti, mauvais à prendre la lumière. La mofine décidée pour montrer tout le monde. On t'a pas dit c'est non qui peut faire la charité. Tiens pas qui c'est non qui peut vivre limité. On t'a pas dit c'est non qui peut faire la vérité. Si met la lumière, ça lit pour l'éternité. Ça même si me donne, montre-moi. Ça même si me qui va vous passer. Ça si me la y'a là-bas même. Ça même si me qui va vous passer. Ça même si me domine, aide-moi. Ça même si me dit à vous passer. Ça si me la lumière. Ça même si me qui va vous passer. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, si me la lumière, il vient de passer. Si me la lumière, oh, il vient de passer. Si me la lumière, il vient de passer. Si me la lumière, il vient de passer. Si me la lumière, il va vous passer. Si me la lumière, il va vous passer. Si me la lumière, il va vous passer. I said, my people, burning, 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 burning,
Hello and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad. I'm Alex, I'm with Seth, and as we mentioned at the top of the hour, this is the 100th episode of Tracks from Abroad. Seth and I were actually here, we just joined at around the 81st episode, was our first. So we thought we'd bring someone who's been here since around the 30th. It's CIUT's very own volunteer coordinator, man of the hour,
Former TFA guest.
Razak Narouni.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's awesome to be here. You guys are absolutely amazing. Such a brilliant community on the University of Toronto campus. And wow, congratulations, 100 episodes. I remember back in the day, no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
It was only like last year I
Yeah.
came on the show and Jesse interviewed me, and it's just been such a surreal experience watching the growth of the entire Tracks from Abroad team, seeing the expansion, and this beautiful community of people, members that come every Monday at 6 to 7 p.m. on CIUT 89.5 FM. So hats off to you all.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say have you seen like a bit of a development change over time in Tracks from Abroad?
I definitely have, in terms of not just the show production quality, but in terms of just the expansion of the members of the show. Each member that is a host on the show or has their own brand new role or designation, they bring so much character and personality onto the show, which is phenomenal. You know, I love interacting with all the members of the team, getting to hang out with, for example, outside in the studio we have Rosa, we have our board tech right here, we have Alexander, Seth, absolute legends. So it's great. Always amazing energy.
Yeah, thank you so much. And eventually, next year, some of the team might turn over. If someone wants to get involved in Tracks from Abroad, they just email you. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can email me and I can help get that set up. But again, congratulations, 100 episodes. That is an unbelievable milestone. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And of course, as cliche as it is, thank you to all of our listeners, of course.
Yes.
We would be nothing without you.
Of course.
We would just be broadcasting to empty years.
Exactly. So that's going to wrap it up for Tracks from Abroad this week. If you want to do the official thanks to the crew, Seth, this is your...
Yes, of course. Yeah. Like Razak mentioned, we can't do this show without the incredible team here at Tracks from Abroad. We have in the studio with us today our board tech Matthew and director Rosa, as well as director Elżbieta, and we have our editor Simon, social media managers Akshita and Isabella. And yeah, we just want to say thank you because 100 episodes and 20 for us as a team, but in general to take that on, and we hope for 100 episodes more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give your voice a rest, Seth. It sounds like it's about to give out. So, again, thanks for listening. Next up is going to be Indigenous Waves from 7 to 8. And that's been it for us tonight. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.
On fait des OD, vous pouvez motiver d'année.